I just had one of those bad drivers just wait till the last minute and then cut me off. Interestingly enough, it's a Ford Taurus. So that'll segue into our topic today, which is I was looking at another Ford Taurus Police Interceptor. I know they don't call it the Taurus, but you know, everybody knows it's basically a Taurus with souped up police features. So they call it the Police Interceptor Sedan, if we want to be technically correct. But anyway, so it was listed online by a private seller, and he listed it as a Taurus SE or something like that. Anyway, it was clearly a police car, and I did a VIN search, and it came up to be, you know, police model, 3.7 liter all-wheel drive. He had it marked, let's say like $5,800, and then he had the thing from one of the internet valuation sites saying that, you know, private party value was like $8,000 or whatever. The problem was he had the internet valuation of the civilian Taurus, and he had the police interceptor, and worse than that, it was Oreo paint job. They had done a terrible job of removing the police graphics on it, and there might have been some damage that he didn't have real good photos. I'll try to see if I can still find those photos online and post them. It still had the plastic back seat. Like I said, the paint and body was kind of rough. The interior wasn't super great, but I thought it had potential as either a flip car if I could get it priced right, or possibly a replacement daily driver if I do end up selling the 2010 Crown Vic, which the thought of doing that has been in the back of my mind since I bought it, obviously. And so, but I drive it as a daily driver, and that makes me not want to sell it because, like I said, it's been a super reliable daily driver. The funny thing is, when I started this channel, or before I'd started this channel, you know, I had pretty good mechanic skills and knowledge, but certainly in the last 5 years, my knowledge has grown exponentially. And so, you know, I had the 2003 Crown Vic before I had this channel. In fact, it was sold before I started the channel. And so I'd fixed the doors and windows and a couple things like that on that car. You know, installed the keyless entry, things like that. But I mean, it was pretty much a learning experience for me as I did that. Then when I got this P71, you know, I did all those things a little bit better, a little bit more professionally. Well, by the time I got the 2010, I knew how to disassemble everything and, you know, fix things up very quick and easily. So it's been done the best of the three, and then I've been trying to go back in the 08 and retrofit things, which you've seen those videos. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off on a sidetrack here. So the 10 has always been, it was bought originally to be a flip car, and so it's always been in the back of my head to sell it. And the main thing of not selling it is, one, I don't want to make the 08 my daily driver, you know, 50 weeks out of the year or whatever. I want to try to save it since it is lower mileage, and like I said, it's kind of a Wednesday car. So really the incentive to sell the 2010 will be if I find another daily driver. So that was kind of my thought, was get the Taurus and fix it up, figure out if it was going to be a daily driver or a flip car, and go from there. In the process of looking at it, he dropped the price substantially, so I figured at some point I might be able to get it maybe $3,500, maybe $4,000. I really didn't want to spend more than that because of all the work that it would have needed. I mean, I was going to need to paint a substantial portion of the car and perhaps repaint basically everything on it to make it look right. I was going to have to try to find a seat at a junkyard, and you know, seats are not cheap to ship, so I'd have to be local, and there's just not a lot of Tauruses locally. So I had a lot of factors like that. And then I was talking with the seller, and I mean, he was nice enough, but the one thing that really took me aback was he was not willing to accept a check from my law firm, and he was demanding basically some online payment that I'm not familiar with, or alternatively to PayPal it to him. And I don't know, that just kind of took me aback a little bit. The other thing was there was pictures of the car where it had the push bumper, and then there were pictures where it didn't. So I don't know if maybe he pulled the push bumper at some point, or maybe did other modifications. And then the third factor was it was out of town just enough that it was going to require me basically riding with somebody out of town and asking for a pretty big favor to, you know, drive me 30 minutes or so out of town and 30 minutes back, or 30 minutes out of town and then follow me home, basically. So it just wasn't convenient to look at. Well, then when I finally was like, okay, I'm going to go down and look at it and make an offer on it, it was sold. So another one slips through the cracks, and I don't own it. Maybe that was a good thing. We'll never know. But certainly if I could have got it for $3,500, I think I could have made a profit off of it as a flip car, even if I had to paint a substantial portion of it. I probably would have painted the white areas black and made it an all black car, rather than trying to paint the white, rather than trying to paint the black areas white and making it a white car, because the white areas were pretty damaged, at least in the photos. I'm guessing that whoever took the police decals off was rather reckless with the razor blade on that. So anyway, long-winded video, but we're talking police cars and flip cars and all that stuff. So hope it was interesting, and I will see you in the next video.